So I thought I'd take a break from reading and listening to Hayley Kiyoko's new album, which is amazing, and film a book tag, a BookTube tag. And I thought I would do the behind the BookTube tag because I haven't done it yet. At least I think I haven't done it. It's over a year old, so it's difficult to remember. I did check my playlist of tags I've done, and I don't see it there, so I don't appear to have done it. Even if I have done it, I don't remember, so you probably don't remember, so this is fine. But the behind the BookTube tag has, of course, a series of questions, and these are not about books, they're about the booktubing process. I have Earl Grey tea, as usual, and I'll get down to these questions. So the first question is, what kind of camera do you use? I use my phone to film, so I have a Samsung, and I think it's an S5 or something. I actually don't remember. I have a Samsung of some sort that I got about a year and 6 or 7 months ago. September of 2016, and I've been filming on it since then. Do you use any additional equipment, lighting, tripod, microphone, remote, etc.? I do have a tripod, and I didn't actually pay anything for it. The reason I have it is because when I got my phone, Best Buy was giving out $200 gift cards to the store. And so I took that gift card and I picked up a tripod, and I bought a little adapter that fits my phone on it, so I wouldn't have to be propping my phone up against books anymore. With my old phone, I used to film on a BlackBerry. It propped up quite well and it wouldn't slide, but the Samsung isn't quite the same, and the camera on this one, especially if it's propped on something, sometimes the table it was propped on or the books would show up in the bottom of the shot, which is obviously not what I wanted. So I do have a tripod, and I use natural light through the window, or it's 7 p.m. on a Saturday night here. When it's darker, I turn on a lamp. And I actually have a lamp without a shade, which would seem like something I would do specifically for BookTube, but I've just never had a shade for this lamp. It's kind of a vintage lamp that I picked up secondhand, and I really liked it, and there was no shade with it, and I just never bought it, and I actually prefer it without the shade because it's brighter, and I don't know, shades seem to get in the way. I'm weird that way. I might actually throw in a picture of the lamp into the video here. Scripted or spontaneous? How do you plan what you're going to say in a video? This is spontaneous. I very, very rarely script. And when I do script, it's not, this is exactly what I'm going to say. This is a list of bullet points I want to cover in this video in this order. And I really only tend to do that when I'm going to be filming a book discussion or a book review or something like that. I don't typically script. I don't like to waste my time on that. I just sit down and talk, which is something I've gotten better at over time. When I first started my channel, everything was scripted. My first video, I actually had a notebook up above my camera with every single word I wanted to say, and I was so nervous that I could barely get it out, and I swear I looked like I was filming BookTube like under duress at gunpoint or something, and you can no longer find that video to watch. It was a book haul. It was a book haul. How many takes do you do when filming? Typically only one. If I do a quote second take, it's me starting to say something and then fucking it up, messing it up, stumbling over my words, or the wrong word coming out, or saying something that doesn't quite make sense to me. And then I just pause, catch my breath, take a sip of tea, and start that sentence over, start talking about that book over, and I don't stop the recording process. I just leave that in there, and then when I put it onto my laptop, I pop it into Windows Movie Maker because I'm classy like that, and that's what I use because it's free. And then I'll chop that bit out and try to put it together in a way that it flows. Some of my earlier videos, it doesn't flow so well because I tried to remove like one word. And I'm like, why did I say that? And I don't want to get on my I didn't want to get my camera out and film again just because of one phrase, but I wanted to have that content in there. And so it was a little bit of laziness. So you get some really odd editing in my earlier videos, but I tend to do better now because I talk in longer chunks. It's not me talking for 15 or 20 seconds, screwing something up, and then having to edit out a chunk and start over. Sometimes I don't even have anything to edit out of a video now because I've gotten a lot better at keeping the flow going and not having awkward silences or tripping over my own tongue. If you use music in your videos, where do you find it? I don't use music in my videos. I know there are some booktubers who do use music, and there are only a couple of people whose videos I can tolerate with music. I'm not going to name names because that'll seem like I'm shaming people for using music, but I find music extremely distracting in videos, especially when someone uses the same song in every video. It gets really, really annoying, and I'm less likely to watch, so I don't use music at all. How do you make your thumbnails? So I didn't used to specifically make a thumbnail. I would just pick whatever came up best. Turns out the thumbnails seem to catch me at the worst moments, often when I have my eyes closed or a strange expression on my face, or when my hand is in the air or something. For a while I used to do a picture of the book cover for my thumbnail, and then at one point I decided to go like this and smile and take a photograph, and that seemed to work better. And I've noticed that people are more likely to click on my video. I get more views if it's a picture of my face than a picture of the book cover. And I'm not sure if it's because people are more interested in seeing a person and the sight of a book cover bores them, or if they're more likely to recognize it as my video if my picture's up there and they can see my face. But yeah, I don't do anything especially artistic. It's usually just one shot, the first shot, and I just hold up my cup of tea or the book. The only reason I hold those things up is so it's just not me kind of staring at the camera. So I have something in my hand. You can see I'm drinking my tea, and I have a timer on my phone. It's a 2-second timer. So I press the button and pose and then take the picture. Simple as that, nothing fancy. What do you use to edit your video? So I already said I use Movie Maker, nothing fancy. It allows me to take out the chunks that I need to take out and then save it to a file, and then I upload it to YouTube. Any tips, tricks, or hacks when it comes to filming / editing? Not really. I'm not very tech savvy. That's my brother's thing. My brother does film. I'm not into computers or editing software or anything fancy. I mean, I film on my phone. The only tip I have is to prepare yourself a cup of tea, because it's just more enjoyable to film when you have a cup of tea. Unless you're like a weird alien creature who doesn't like tea or coffee. It's probably not a good idea to drink alcohol while filming either. Anyway, in your opinion, what makes a good video from a production standpoint? From a production standpoint, a good video is just a person talking and being engaging and saying interesting things. There's nothing fancy to it, I guess. I know some people like that overly produced video where there's book covers showing up in the corner and transitions and sound effects and music, but I'm a very, very simple person when it comes to filming, and my favorite booktubers tend to be the people who film the simple videos as well. I'm much more likely to listen to someone talk for 35 minutes about some books they've read, about some thoughts they've had about those books, in a very personable and down-to-earth manner, than I am to watch someone's 5-minute video where they jump into the screen and have all these fancy transitions and this peppy music playing. It's really just a preference, I guess. So that is all the questions. I hope you found this interesting. It was interesting for me to consider these things, and it was an excuse to make another cup of tea. And now I might do a book haul next because I got bored and I went to Salvation Army, Vincent de Paul, and Value Village and brought back a bag of books. So keep an eye open for that.